I learned this powerful manifestation concept from Neville Goddard and managed to receive $1 million partnership within 3 weeks in my brand new corporate consulting business. On paper, it should have taken at least 6 to 7 years or even a decade. But when I understood this, that manifestation is instant and there is a reason, there's one powerful shift that you need to make it instant, everything changed for me. And using this principle, I've also manifested a 22-room mansion in Greater London while I was in one-bedroom flat, and also received my annual income in a weekend very, very quickly. And things start to happen really instantly. Hey, this is Anam Hayat. I am the go-to identity mentor for visionaries and corporate executives in the boardroom. So this concept that there is this gestation period and it takes longer to manifest and you're waiting is not actually true, because everything is already here. Everything is already created. So when things are already created, they're already here, what are we waiting for? So if you find yourself in the waiting stage, if you find yourself waiting for a long time and your manifestation is not here, that means this is what you're really missing. So Neville Goddard talks about vision into being, and he calls it a powerful transformation, inner transformation, where you become the vision. So when you want something, it's a fantasy. When you be something, you are a vibrational match because it is who you are. Being, what it actually means is that you activate a version within you who is already a match for what you want. That means that version of you thinks, feels, and acts in alignment with the vision that you desire, and that version can receive what you desire instantly. Now, if you are told that there is a waiting time and you've been waiting for a while, it's because a part of you is not matched. A part of you is not in alignment. And the key here is identity shift. Like Neville in one of his books talks about this idea that the moth jumps in the fire all at once and became one color and one substance. And he is talking about this very identity shift, that you just jump in that and you become one color and one substance. You don't test the water. You don't say, okay, I'm going to dip my feet and see if the water is right temperature, if it's too cold. You just jump all in. You are just in it. You are it, right? Which is all means identity shift. Now, how does science and psychology and neuroscience support that? Because this is where the real identity shift happens. No matter how much you want something, if you are not in alignment in terms of your identity, you cannot receive it. And this waiting game is actually jumping game. Jump all in. Be the one with it. Be it. Be it now. When we talk about identity shift, what we want to understand is that you have currently a neural program, which is also called subconscious, but subconscious doesn't mean it's limited to your mind. It also involves your body and your nervous system, which controls you 98% of the time. It is your operating model. And that was designed by the time you were 7, 8 years old. All the thoughts, all the beliefs, all the ideas, all the conversations, assumptions, everything went in direct from your subconscious, because your reasoning faculty or your conscious mind, which could reject ideas, wasn't developed. So you were introduced to money. You had a relationship with money at that time. You had a relationship with life and everything else based on how your adults and your caregivers saw life. So that is now the part of your neural network. And your nervous system has a capacity to hold money. If we can literally think of it as a pipe and think of it like it has a capacity, more money cannot enter. It doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel natural. That's why no matter how hard you try or how much you're in the waiting game, you're not able to hold it. I want to share with you very, very powerful steps. What Neville really talks about, jumping all in and being the vision, how you can do that. Because one thing that I found was that everybody's talking about believing and fusing with the belief and becoming that version and activating their higher self or the best of them or some vibrational alignment. But there's a powerful neurological phenomena behind this. And if you don't do it, then you are constantly ping-ponging your vibration or ping-ponging your identity and constantly getting hard on yourself or working harder, or maybe in the waiting game. So you want to follow these exact steps, which when I followed, I received a $1 million partnership within 3 weeks because I became a match that fast with the speed of light. So the first thing is, what is it exactly you want? Clarity and focus on one thing is not optional, it's biological, because your nervous system needs a target to move. It's like when you get up and go somewhere, you know where you're going, otherwise your body doesn't know where to go. So you need to, like the car needs a destination in the GPS for you to take you there, or the GPS needs to know to tell you the directions. Your nervous system needs to know where you're going. So be very clear on where you want to be. The second thing is, your body currently holds a pattern. And a lot of people try to use mindset tools to deal with that, to release it. But it's not the mindset, it's the nervous system and body. And the way you do it is you start to really listen to your body, see where you're feeling sensations, see where you feel the contrast, where you feel the actual sensations, and you start to really connect with it, and you breathe into those sensations. You let them come, you face them without judging yourself, without saying stories about them, without trying to rationalize the feeling. You breathe into that, you feel that sensation. So let's say when you check your bank account, you feel maybe tightness in your throat, or maybe you feel tightness in your chest, you feel powerless, maybe you feel something in your belly where you're like, I feel that sensation, I feel this in my gut. Instead of just rationalizing it and saying, what is it causing that? Why am I sort of this person? Let me rationalize, let me convince myself. You're still in your head, in the mind. You want to go in your body. You want to feel that sensation. Let that sensation come, even increase the level of the sensation, really connect with it, and then breathe into it so that it can leave your mind. Because that is currently a block. That is currently what's stopping you. That is not allowing you to think, operate, and feel on that frequency. So instead of judging it or saying, what is wrong with me, or it's happening because of this, or I'm going to change my feeling, I'm going to switch my thoughts, or I'm going to start listening to some motivational stuff so that I can just cope up with it, you start to really feel the sensation and you breathe into it to let it move through your body, right? Then you start to say, okay, once it's gone, now I'm a clear channel to be implanted, whatever I want to implant. What would I love? And who do I need to be for me to manifest that, for me to become a match? That means if the older sensation or older belief was attracting money is hard, can I now start looking at attracting money so easy? The more I rest, the more I make, right? I'm a masterpiece in what I do. So there are few, like literally few, 2 to 3 identity tweaks that I made. Very simple, very fast. You don't have to change 100 things about you. In fact, you don't have to change anything about you. Just change the way you see you. And even in that, you just make some tweaks to your identity. And my tweaks, after I releasing all those tension points in my nervous system, I said to myself, there is a huge demand for what I do based on the universal law of compensation. There are 3 aspects of universal law of compensation, and this law dictates money. And this law is everywhere in the universe, no matter where you are, what the climate is, what the country is, irrespective of anything. This is the universal law. The law of receiving money is the demand for what you do, how good you are at doing it, and how easy it is to replace you. So if there is a huge demand, and if you are really good at it, and if it's really hard to replace you, that means they cannot just find somebody else who can do the same job as you. You can charge whatever the hell you want. And in order to really master it, there are the things that you really want to do is to be really good at what you do, because then there is a huge demand and you're hard to replace. So the belief that I took from that and the identity shift is that there is a huge demand for the consulting that I'm doing. There's a huge demand. I am incredible at it. And I'm signing contract, and people are constantly getting us in and getting us in board. When I start to really take those identities, I start to really think from that place. I start to really feel that. And when you really start to fuse with the belief, you start to act in alignment. That means I started going confidently in the events, in the major tech events and places, and started talking about what I do. and started really confidently sharing the benefits and how it's helping and what's the value. And what I started to notice was that everybody that I met, or everybody that was attracted in terms of like coming in my field, in my physical reality, they were like, oh my God, we need this. We really need this. So my first identity shift was there's a huge demand, manifested. Then I'm really good at that. I start to feel that. I start to come from that place. So before actually lending the contracts, I embodied the fact that I'm an expert. So a lot of times my clients say to me, but I haven't got the proof that I'm an expert. You're not going to get the proof. If you want to see the proof, you have to believe in the invisible and then you get the proof. So my energy was that I really know what I'm talking about. I'm so good at this. And people start to feel that. People start to believe in my energy, my vision. And then we start to sign contracts. And as we start to get really good, there were more and more companies who were signing and extending the contracts. And within literally 3 weeks, we had contracts. We had $1 million partnership with one of the tech giants in the world. And it was so good. So the key is when you shift your identity, you become a match. That thing already exists, right? So when you jump in, that thing already exists. You become a match and it comes to you. You're not in the waiting stage. Like achieving this kind of thing, which should have taken like a decade, in 3 weeks is the proof that your manifestation is instant. What Neville said, it's actually true, right? So the steps that you want to take is you want to first be clear what it is. Number one. Second, you want to release the resistance from your body by doing the nervous system work, not just the mindset, the nervous system work. That means you take those ideas which are not in alignment with where you're going, your beliefs, your limiting blocks, but then you release them in your body instead of just rationalizing them in your mind. A lot of people do that. They're just rationalizing in the mind. Your body is blocking it. Your body holds the score of your income. It holds the ceiling. While the mind wants all those things, the body blocks it. Okay, it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't move. That's why sometimes you procrastinate or you don't do the thing, right? And then what you start to do is you start to implant the new identity tweaks. The biggest misconception is you need to change a lot of things in your identity, but really what you need to do is you need to make few tweaks which help you become the match. And then when you do it properly by thinking, feeling, you start to act in alignment and you start to attract in alignment because your frequency changes, how you are vibrating changes, how you feel changes. The fact that you have done the body work, your nervous system has now expanded to hold more, and you hold illogical things with the speed of light and instantly.